Welcome back to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by former Mercyhurst goalie who is currently at Wisconsin, where she absolutely killed it last weekend, getting her first shutout against Minnesota State. Welcome to the podcast, Kennedy Blair. How's everything going?
It's going good. It's been a crazy season for sure, but I'm ready to get started the second half.
Yeah, and what have you overall taken away from this season, and what are your thoughts on your team's performance so far?
So far, I mean, it's kind of been difficult with just having 4 games under our belt. We kind of got cut short with a few COVID cases on our team, at the beginning of the year. But I'm really proud of our team so far and the adversity we've taken and stuff with the circumstances we're in. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got your first shutout against Mankato a few days ago. Talk about that accomplishment and what was the key to your success that night?
The team in front of me really played well. Our defense, our forwards, all that. It was nice to get that under my belt for sure and get things going now. Having a shout out obviously helps the confidence a lot, coming to the next games, playing Ohio State and Minnesota. So.
Yeah, and we'll talk about those two series. Those are obviously two pretty tough opponents in the WCHA. How are you trying to prepare for some of their top scorers like Emma Malte on Ohio State, someone who specifically has done well so far in this conference?
Yeah, especially these two upcoming series, Ohio State this weekend and then Minnesota next week. And I think just practicing our game most importantly and focusing on what we need to focus on. And these two series are very important, especially that one team's, I think, the number 2 team in the country right now, and the other team's number 4 possibly. But especially with the limited games, they all need to be wins for playoff time. Yeah.
Yeah, what's it like being the number one ranked team in the country? And obviously there's a lot of pressure and a lot of expectations among yourself because of that ranking. How have you tried to handle all of that pressure and maintain that success throughout all the pressure that you face so far?
Yeah, I've never been in this position before. So being the number 1 team in the country, we do have a lot of pressure, going into each game, especially this past week and also playing at Mankato and stuff. You're the number 1 team, but anyone can beat you at any time. It's college hockey. So there's pressure, but at the same time, I think it helps with their confidence as well, knowing that we're in that number 1 spot.
Yeah, and what are some similarities and differences you have noticed about the WCHA versus the CHA conference that you were in previously?
I would say the WCHA is way more physical, very talented. It's crazy how many girls I play with at Wisconsin here and how much talent they have, Mercyhurst too, we had a lot of talents. I wouldn't say the league's as physical. I feel like it's more skill-wise in the CHA division compared to the WCHA, but it's crazy the difference between each division for sure.
Yeah, what do players in the CHA say about the WCHA conference when you were in it a few years ago?
A few years ago, I would say that, yeah, like the physicality is very different. The girls are, like I said, more skilled. I don't recall playing a WCHA team last year, but my freshman and sophomore years for sure. Just the talent wise they have, like they're always gonna bring it each and every game, so you always have to be ready.
Yeah, and how have you tried to transition to the new team amid all the challenges with the pandemic and also being a transfer as well, not being like a freshman, coming in from juniors?
The transition actually has been super simple, I guess. I mean, it's a little bit different than normal circumstances, but the girls are very welcoming. I think coming in as like a grad transfer, you're a little bit more mature and, have you gone through this the past 4 years? So I think that kind of helps the situation as well. We can't really hang out as a team outside of the rink, so that's kind of the hard part about it. I also don't live with any teammates, so that's another thing, but I'm really enjoying it so far. The team is really nice. The staff's really nice. The coaches, they're all very welcoming.
Yeah, and what's it like to play this year without any fans? And has that been an adjustment for yourself as a goaltender? Because I know you played at LeBon with Mercyhurst. I think that was your first ever game, if I
Yeah, that was
recall.
my first ever college game, actually, in my freshman year. It is very different, I would say, but at the same time, I don't notice it because I'm so focused and dialed in during the game. I wish fans would be able to come just because I am closer to home now too, and my parents would be able to make it every series. No, in the past they've only came at least one time each semester, so that's kind of a bummer, but It has been a little bit different, but at the same time, I haven't noticed it. Like I said, I've been so dialed in and focused on that, it just, I don't really pay attention.
Yeah, and you've also had to adjust to many schedule changes throughout the season, with your season being on pause during the month of December. How have you mentally stayed prepared for all those changes and postponements to your schedule?
Just focusing on like what you need to focus on, obviously, like at practice, in the weight room, staying focused in those opportunities and stuff. When I went home for Christmas break, I was able to ski with the NHL Bismarck Bobcats team, and I got to ski with a couple of guys there that, are going to play college hockey here in the near future. So that really helped as well. And this training at home, the positive thing about going back to North Dakota during this time was everything's open there. So there's no lockdowns or anything, but so I had the opportunity to do that, which really helped.
Yeah, and another thing that has been introduced to college hockey this year is 3-on-3 overtime. I know you haven't played in one yet, but what's that going to be like being a goaltender with more players getting more offensive chances and more open ice?
Honestly, I think that puts a lot more difficulty on the goaltenders. There can be a breakaway or 2-on-0 at any moment in time. It's going to be harder for the girls to transition off the ice or get some new fresh legs on the ice, I think. But it'll be exciting once it kind of happens. I'm hoping that maybe I'm not going to be in that situation. But like I said, yeah, it's going to create more opportunities for 2-on-0 rushes, 2-on-1 rushes, or even, breakaways for either team.
I know you're probably not a fan of the 2-on-1 breakaway rushes, but as a fan, it's fun to watch just because, it's more, I guess, fun to watch as a viewer with those offensive chances, especially with the great players in the WCHA, getting to see some of the skill level they have.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, any 2-on-1 coming down, you kind of get nervous. I know my parents in the stands obviously get nervous too, but yeah, the big thing is to stay confident in those situations and, read the plays.
Yeah, and what type of leadership do you hope to bring to this year's team? Playing college hockey before, winning obviously a CHA championship, are you more of a vocal or lead by example type of player? And how have you used your previous college hockey experience to help the freshmen out for this season?
I would say I'm kind of both. I'll say what I need to say when it's needed, or I'll lead by example off the ice when it's needed as well. Coming in, it's kind of hard as a transfer, obviously, and being a senior, you don't want to like overstep boundaries or, not say enough. So I think helping the freshmen transition into their roles and just kind of trying to fit in with the other seniors as well and kind of getting to know them and seeing how I should help them as well. So from my experience and stuff, this is my 5th year, so I kind of have an extra year under my belt compared to even the seniors on our team. So with my experience and stuff, I think I just need to bring all leadership aspects to the table.
Yeah, and how has the freshman class looked like so far in your eyes? You obviously had some great recruits with Casey O'Brien, McKenna Webster, and Maddie Wheeler. How have they impacted your team so far this year?
They've impacted our team a lot. I think they've each scored a goal in each game now, which helps tremendously. They transitioned in, I thought, very easily. They're some of our better players here, and yeah, I would say they transitioned in like with the national team experience and all that too. I think that really helps.
Yeah, and what's it been like to play under Coach Mark Johnston, and what have you learned under him so far since he's one of the most legendary coaches in college hockey?
It's been an amazing experience so far for sure. He's all business, I've learned a lot from him, the other coaches as well. Yeah, it's been a different experience for sure, just from being at Mercyhurst and then now having him as a coach. He's the best coach in college hockey right now. It's awesome playing underneath him.
Yeah, and what has been the biggest improvement you've made to your game so far compared to last season?
My biggest improvement, I would say, is just staying out and staying big. Obviously, both leagues I said are different too. So, here in the WCHA, people are going to crash them at all times. It's going to be physical. So I need to stay out, stay big, play my position right.
Now, I want to start off talking about before you went to college hockey. You're from North Dakota. What's it like growing up there, and how did you start playing hockey?
Growing up in North Dakota, hockey's not the biggest sport, I would say, especially with females. I grew up playing boys hockey until my freshman year of high school, until I moved over there. I started playing hockey when I was 4, I would say. My brother actually started playing before me. He's older. He's 28 now, but He didn't start till he was like 10, and a family friend actually just, you know, helped him start playing. And then I kind of just got fed into it. My parents actually never played hockey. I don't even think my parents know how to skate. So yeah, but growing up in North Dakota, it's definitely a different experience for hockey, I would say. Coming from, I moved away after my sophomore year of high school and played in Minnesota for the Minnesota Revolution. Very big difference there as well, within like high school hockey. So.
Now, what made you want to be a goalie specifically?
I never really had like the desire of playing goalie, I guess, but I was always on the boys team, like I said, and I was the only girl. So I think it was just like, hey, the girl, let's put her in it, or I have an older brother, all his friends played, and playing in the garage growing up, they're like, let's just put the pads on Kennedy and shoot pucks at her all the time, and then they laugh about it. So that's kind of how I got put into being goalie.
Yeah, and did you have a favorite player growing up that you model your game after today?
I don't really model my game after him, but I really like Marc-Andre Fleury. I think he has a lot of adversity, coming from team to team, and especially after this past year, not getting a lot of playing time. I think it really showed his character as a goalie, and I think that's something that any person can admire, especially as a goalie in college hockey.
Yeah, I admired what he went through with Pittsburgh when they won the cup a few years ago, basically getting benched for Matt Murray and then going to Vegas and still having the success he did, regarding even because of the whole situation with Matt Murray. So that's definitely someone I look up to as well, and one of my favorite goalies to watch.
Yeah, just like I admire him so much for the character he brings as well. Like this past year, obviously didn't go his way with bringing in another goalie. But I think every college goalie can learn off that aspect too. There's going to be freshman goalies coming in every year that are going to push you to want to be better. You're not going to play every game in college hockey, and you have to, cheer on your teammates, the other goalies, and all that too. So I think Marc-Andre Fleury really showed like his character in those situations this past year.
Yeah, it's very rare. I only seen one goalie that's played like every single game in college hockey, and I don't know how you do it just because, it's so much. I guess it's a lot of hard work just to play in a game, but playing it consistently and doing it well, that must be tough.
Yeah, it is really tough. I think obviously this year it's only been 4 games. Last year I think I started in 29, played 29 out of 36, and that was a grind for sure. I haven't had that any other year. My freshman year, sophomore year, I think I played up to like 24, 25 games. But as a goaltender in college hockey, you do need a break. You can't grind your one goalie every weekend, trying to get the other goalies in here and there. But yeah, mentally it's tough and physically it's tough for sure.
Yeah, especially this year with all the rescheduling, you're probably gonna have to play more consistently or more games during the week than you normally would during a non-COVID year, I would assume.
Yeah, we don't have the crazy schedule like some of the men's teams. I think our men's team was playing like 3 or 4 games per week before Christmas break. Right now I think we have 12 games left before playoffs. But yeah, like you said, anything can change at any moment. So it's just like smart to be ready at all times. You never know when you're gonna play. The nice part about it is a shorter season. So your body's not going to be as physically hurt or anything like that.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I want to talk to you about before you went to college hockey. You played for the Bismarck Blizzard. Talk about your experience there and how did it prepare you for college hockey?
Yeah, so I played for the Bismarck Blizzard my freshman sophomore year. Actually played with former or teammate here at Wisconsin, Britta Curl, so that really helped too, having a solid player like that on our team. I think it all started before playing high school hockey. Playing with the guys for sure really helped me prepare to play college hockey. I don't think playing guys hockey growing up I would never be in like this particular area or position that I'm in right now. So I think that really helped me more than the high school hockey. But high school hockey in North Dakota, it's grown a lot. Back when I was growing up, I don't want to say I'm old, but I mean like 6 or 7, 8 years ago or whatever, it was still a smaller female sport in the state of North Dakota.
Yeah, no, I feel like North Dakota hockey is very fun to watch. I watched some of the Sioux games on TV, and that arena is like probably the most loudest college hockey arena in the country, in my opinion. So I hopefully it continues to grow, and especially in an area like that.
Yeah, me too, for sure. I was committed to North Dakota before Mercyhurst. I redshirted there my first year, so I've been there as well. And the atmosphere there is amazing. And then it was kind of cool because my freshman and sophomore year of high school, I got to play in the state championship in that rink, which was amazing. The atmosphere with like all the fans, high school kids, they love the atmosphere there as well. So it was fun.
Yeah, and I want to talk more about that. You originally committed to North Dakota before the program was shut down. What was your reaction when the program left, and why did you choose to go to Mercyhurst after the program leaving?
Yeah, so it was a very difficult, growing up in North Dakota, it's everyone's dream to play college hockey at the University of North Dakota. You think of North Dakota, it's a college town, like named after hockey. So like, after we got cut that April, I like didn't even know what I was going to do. I honestly thought for like the first week, I was like, oh my gosh, my hockey career is over. I reached out to a few teams asking if they needed a goalie. I had my old Revolution coach help me out as well. The difficult part about being the goalie position is most teams already have 3 or 4 goalies, or they have one coming in. So I didn't have like any teams. Most teams didn't need a goalie. It was between Duluth and Mercyhurst. Duluth, Maddie Rooney was at the Olympics that year. So they're like, hey, we need a 1-year goalie. You could come in, and, after that, we don't know. And then Mercyhurst, they're like, hey, we have 3 goalies already. You can come in. You could be the starter. We don't know. We've never seen you play, but here's the opportunity here. So I took it actually, and went there for 3 years. I enjoyed it. It was a really good experience.
Yeah, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make to college hockey after playing your first few games with Mercyhurst?
I would say just like, I think that redshirt year at North Dakota really prepared me for college hockey. I honestly think every goalie should do that. It's really helpful, honestly. Going into my freshman year, the transition, I would say it was kind of difficult right away. I mean, we came and played Wisconsin. They were the number 1 team in the country. My first college game ever as a little freshman, in the LeBron when it's packed. It was difficult. The biggest adjustment I said is just like, you're playing against girls that are 4 years older than you and have harder shots. There's more physicality, like all that type of stuff. But, being confident, I think those first few games under my belt, just adjusting to the game and then practicing on those habits that I need to do in practice and then bringing them over to the game.
Yeah, and during your first season with Mercyhurst, you won a CHA championship and made the national tournament. What was it like to win your first league championship with Mercyhurst?
It was amazing. Like that feeling of winning, it was awesome. And the coaches always say that too at the end of the year. They're like, work your butts off all year and they'll get rewarded at the end of the year. And it's the most amazing feeling. The cool part about it was our assistant coach was on Mercyhurst before too. And she always bragged about how the feeling of winning the CHA tournament was. And it was a really fun experience, especially having that. And then going to the Final 8 game at Clarkson, the atmosphere there was unreal, playing in front of all those fans. And it was a really close game, actually, which was awesome.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that. What was it like playing in your first national tournament game against the number 1 team in the country in Clarkson? And what do you remember from that experience?
Honestly, I remember it all. I remember each goal that got scored on me. The atmosphere was crazy, like I said before. It was a packed rink. I'll remember it the rest of my life. It was so fun, and it was such a bummer that how it ended. And I know, like, we went in the locker room after the game, and people are crying because we were so close of being the number 1 team in the country and making it to the Frozen Four.
Yeah, in your second year with Mercyhurst, you lost to Syracuse in the CHA tournament. What did you learn from that loss to motivate you for your third year with Mercyhurst and this year with Wisconsin?
Obviously, you have to be ready for each game. I was hurt the first half of that season, actually. So I think I missed 15, 16 games. So that kind of, destroyed my confidence a little bit going in the second half that season. But like I said, in the CHA, anyone's going to come and want to beat you. I think we might have been the second team in the CHA that year, or the second team in the CHA that year. And, like I said, every team's going to come in and want to beat you. Syracuse was that team, they were like the 6th or 7th seed, I believe. And they literally had to play 3 games to win it all. So I give them props to that. They were unreal that tournament.
Yeah, and you were talking about some of the challenges you've had to face in order to be a starter in college hockey and to make it to the path that you're on now. How have you tried to overcome some of those challenges with the program at North Dakota being shut down, for you getting hurt your second year at Mercyhurst? How do you mentally deal with all those challenges and stay positive throughout those difficult times?
Yeah, I think you learn from each challenge for sure. I think if I never had the opportunity at North Dakota to move to Mercyhurst, like I said, each program has developed me to the goalie I am today, to the woman I am today, So I think, like I said, you have to take each opportunity and learn from it. Obviously from the North Dakota situation, went to Mercyhurst, got hurt my second year. During those few months that I was hurt too, you kind of just have to reflect and realize that, hockey's not your whole life either. There's way more to hockey, but I think I needed that little 3-month time of hurt to realize, got to get back on the road and try to win a national championship.
Now, this past year, your team won another CHA tournament in overtime nonetheless. What was it like to win that game, and how did it compare to the last CHA championship that you won?
I don't know which one was better, honestly. I think this past year was awesome, though, because we went undefeated at home. Then we won our regular season, and then we came in on the CHA championship as well. So I think maybe this past one was more exciting than my first one, but both were very exciting. But I think it was just because we won 3 things right in a row. And then we beat the number 2 team in our league too. So it's always fun to beat Robert Morris, I guess. But and then going into the final 8, we got cut short there. But I would say this past year was probably the most memorable one than my freshman year for sure.
Now, your team was supposed to play in the national tournament again before COVID shut everything down. Where did your team find out, and what was your reaction to that news?
So we were actually practicing that whole week, and I think that week was when things started shut down. We found out the Thursday before, or the Friday when we were supposed to leave actually and go to Cornell. We practiced up to that day, but it was hard. I think for me, not being a senior at the time, I don't think it was as hard as for the seniors. I feel so bad for them. You dread that, being your last game ever as a college athlete. So I was obviously down, but I was like, hey, there's another year to go, win a national championship.
Yeah, and I want to talk about how did your experience with Mercyhurst help prepare you for your time at Wisconsin? You had a lot of good players on your team: Alexa Vasco, Summer Rae Dobson, Sam Isabel. How did competing against those players and facing against those players every day in practice help prepare you for your time at Wisconsin that you're experiencing right now?
Yeah, I think all those girls were pretty solid and had a lot of skill-wise. I know Emma Newton was there too. She plays for the Finnish national team, and then Vilma Tonskinen as well. All those girls are very skilled and talented. I think each player has helped me develop to the goalie I am now, and even make that transition over here easier as well. They have the same skill-wise as some of these girls here. So, yeah, that really helped me.
Now, why did you choose to come to Wisconsin, and what was the process like getting to Madison? Because I was very curious of how that works since you redshirted your freshman year and then you played 3 years with Mercyhurst.
Yeah, so there's actually, I don't know if there's an NCAA rule for sure, but the North Dakota one didn't count or something like that. So I graduated from Mercyhurst this summer. I had one more class to take since I was so far ahead. And then I was like, hey, you know what? I want to go to grad school. I had that 1 year of eligibility left. So I was in the transfer portal, and Wisconsin had the opportunity of bringing in a goalie, and I obviously took it right away. I mean, I don't know how someone would say no to the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah, and you're following up upon the footsteps of Kristen Campbell, who you played with North Dakota. How has she helped you transition into Madison? Because I know you guys are kind of close.
Yeah, so it kind of helped a lot. So when I redshirted at North Dakota, she redshirted the year before. So we had a little bond there. She helped me through that process. And then this summer when she saw that I committed to Wisconsin, she just, helped me through the process as well. Texted me a few times and asked if I needed help with anything. I'm actually living with her roommates that she lived with the past few years. So she really helped the transition as well.
Now, what are your goals and expectations for the second half of the season? I know you have 12 games left, but you're playing against some of the top teams in the country. Just what do you expect, and what do you hope happens in the next few games?
For myself, obviously staying confident, being calm, playing my type of game. Also for our team, we got to stay at that number 1 team in the country. We got to have that mentality at all times, be confident in our play, especially coming in these next few series against Ohio State and Minnesota. Every game counts from now on. You can't take one back, and, you lose one that could end up resulting in something, a place that you don't want to be in the final face-off, per se. So I think every game right now counts, every second, every minute, every period counts. So.
Yeah, and we're now in the non-hockey segment of the podcast. And my first question to you is, what is your favorite outdoor activity?
So this summer I got really attached to kayaking and mountain biking. I absolutely love that. I can't wait to be done. When I'm graduating and stuff with hockey and all that, and have other experiences outdoors. I think, especially North Dakota, there's a lot of that, a lot of outdoors activities. So I really enjoy kayaking and mountain biking.
Yeah, I've been getting into kayaking very much so recently. I got a rowing machine. I'm excited for that to show up. It's very good exercise because it works out like I think 75% of your body. So it's
Oh,
good
really?
exercise. Yeah. And it just
Yeah.
I wanna hopefully go out more, do some because I live kind of near the coast, so I can do like stuff around like Cape Cod or something like that. So
Mhm.
I'm excited hopefully for the summer, and if things open more up, I can do more kayaking in the future and like rowing and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's so fun, especially we only have a few bays here in North Dakota. We're not like the land of lakes, but I'm hoping to get out to like Montana or something for sure. I've never really been an outdoors person, but I think quarantine kind of like changed me a little bit to be more
Yeah.
outdoorsy. So yeah, I'm really excited for the opportunities I'm going to get after playing college hockey, because I feel like you kind of lack on a few other opportunities outside of it just because you're always focused on your sport.
Yeah, Montana seems like a very nice place, but I don't know how many people actually live there. So you're gonna be kind of in the middle of nowhere when you go out.
Yeah, the Midwest is kind of middle of nowhere, honestly. People are like, is North Dakota even an actual state? Like, I'm like, yeah, it is.
Definitely, definitely. I've always wanted to see the Grand Canyon, or there's a national park somewhere in like Southern California that I want to go to. I think Yosemite, that's it. And I always
Okay.
want to go see there. And I know that's kind of not in the middle of nowhere, but that's like I've seen photos and it seems pretty cool place to visit.
Yeah. That's like my one major goal is after graduating my grad program is to go travel a little bit, before I settle down and get a job and buy a house or whatever I'm going to do next. So,
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully you get the opportunity to do that. And I hope things get back to normal sometime in the next few months. That's my hope. But right
yeah,
now in the East Coast, it's pretty bad, all the COVID numbers. So
I know I'm hoping to just, having fans at our games, especially like the Frozen Four or the Final Eight or the Final Face-Off as well. Like, I'm really hoping there's fans just because the Frozen Four is at Mercyhurst this year too.
yeah.
So I'm really crossing my fingers that things will change.
Yeah, I hope they change too, and hopefully I can go back to some college hockey games and do more in person to person interviews than through
Yeah,
Zoom.
I feel like that'd be way easier for you.
Oh, definitely. Now, who is your favorite actor or actress?
Oh gosh. I wouldn't really say I have one. I kind of like, I don't have one. I'll watch anything or, laugh at anything. So I wouldn't say I have one at all.
I can't really think of one at the moment. Probably like Zac Efron or like Jimmy Fallon. I don't know if he's an actor, but they're pretty funny.
Yeah, Zac Efron for sure, I guess. Which girl doesn't want to watch him in a movie? But yeah, I guess Zac Efron, I'd
No,
watch
because he's funny. He was funny in Neighbors. I'm trying to think
him.
of another movie. But he's also a good actor because I saw the thing he did with the Ted Bundy movie on Netflix.
Yeah, see, I really love that movie. And like the only crack part about that is I think like Zac Efron's so amazing, but then putting him in that situation, that movie is like you don't want to think of Zac Efron as a bad person like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that movie was amazing.
But he obviously can sing as well in High School Musical. That song "Bet On
Yeah,
It" is a huge
I
jam, as the kids would say. So
I
definitely,
love the musical movies.
that's why I feel like because I want an actor or an actress that can sing, dance, I guess, do it all and be entertaining and funny. And I think he
Yeah.
does it all. So that's probably why I would choose him.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. That's amazing.
Now, who is the funniest on your team?
Oh gosh. This year, I would say Brett Pettit. She's hilarious. Like you never know what's gonna come out of her mouth, and every time something does, it's so funny.
Yeah, we've
I
had
have
her
to
on the
laugh all the
podcast
time.
before.
Yeah,
So
I saw that actually. Yeah, every time she says something, it's like you can't take her seriously because it's just so funny and sarcastic.
now, who has the best style on the team besides yourself?
Oh gosh. Style on or off ice?
How let's do both. I know there's going to be a lot of contention with this one because a lot of people like to say they have the best style on every team.
Oh yeah. I would say I have the best. I'm just kidding. The best style on ice. I would have to go with, I think McKenna Webster has some pretty good style on the ice. Off ice, honestly, our whole team has style. They each have their own unique style. You know, especially I feel like nowadays, like what you wear and what you like, I don't know, what you wear is like everyone has such their own style now. But I would say Shayla Edwards has like a really cool like vibey style. So
Nice. Yeah, no, I feel like, I don't know, there's some people that like put a lot of effort into what they wear, and then there's other people that just like wake up, throw something on. I always get jealous of those people because like they still sometimes look pretty decent with some of the stuff they just wake up and wear. It's like I could never do that.
yeah, no, I had a teammate at Mercyhurst, Jordan Mortlock, actually, and she's like a fashion queen. Like, has like I swear 100 pairs of Air Forces, like just the perfect clothing, like attire, like amazing style. So shout out to her for sure.
Definitely. That's pretty crazy. How do you balance the academic and hockey side of being a student athlete? Because it seems very tough. Like I'm dealing with the academic stuff, and some of these professors, they just throw work at you because they love it. It's like then you have to have the hockey, but then you also want to have like a social life as well because you just don't want to be focusing just on your sport and academics because that would just drain a person.
Yeah, honestly, it's like time management for sure, you know, setting a few hours aside each day. For me anyways, I took 4 classes this past semester, and I would set like one day aside for like a certain class. Like Mondays was this class, Tuesdays was this class, you know. But just finding a few hours a day, managing your time, maybe having like a set schedule each day as well. You know, hey, I have to do this, this, and this each day, and then um, it's very difficult for sure. Like I said, you know, I'm at the rink 4 hours a day for lifts on ice. I mean, today we had video, we had off ice, we had practice, and then you know you have to see the trainer afterwards, and then you have lunch at the rink as well. So you're there for quite a while time. But I would say the biggest thing for anyone is just time management for sure. That's one thing you learn, and I think that's even gonna like focus on into like my real life world, you know, this fall, this upcoming year.
Yeah, that's definitely a good skill to learn. And I think that's something I'm learning right now is time management because you have to, even when you're done with hockey, you have to time manage your life,
Mm-hmm.
obviously your job and other things that go on. So it's definitely a good skill to learn.
Yeah, I think being a student athlete really does help you prepare for the real world. Just like we just said, time management, you know, um, you're gonna have to in a few years, you know, you're gonna have to handle a job, you're gonna have to handle, you know, a boyfriend or girlfriend, you're gonna have to handle, you know, having kids, getting married, you know, all those financial things as well. So I think being a student athlete in college really helps you prepare for like the next few years in your, you know, the real world for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Now back to be done help grow women's hockey in your opinion, because I know you've been in women's college hockey for 5 years now. What do you think has to be done to grow the sport? I know some strides have been made, especially with the PWHPA and also the NWHL announcing that some of their games will be televised on NBC Sports Network. Do you think there's anything that should be done to grow the sport in any sort of way in your opinion?
No, I think, like you said, the NWHL playing on, you know, broadcasting some of their games, but I think even broadcasting some of our female games too. You know, it's so easy to like go see the men's game. They're on, you just go swipe through the channels on TV, and some men's games are on. You never see women's games. So, just showing it more on TV, you know, having even us college students like go help out kids, throughout the communities and stuff. Really, I think it's grown a lot, especially back home in North Dakota for sure. It's grown. Female hockey has grown so much because when I was growing up, there was no female teams really that you could play on. So it's grown a lot now. But I think just we as females have to change it. And the outside people have to accept that we're going to change it. So
Yeah, I think that's great what you're doing and all the other athletes what they're doing in school, and I hope it continues to grow more often. I think it's convincing not just females but males and other genders that this is a sport to watch and to take part in my opinion.
yeah, it's a growing sport for sure. I think females playing hockey is amazing. I think we bring a lot to the table. You know, girls hockey has grown, like I said, so much, and it's fun to watch. I sometimes think watching girls hockey is more fun than watching guys hockey, but that's my opinion, you know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely different. I think like with guys hockey, it's more physical, which can definitely be entertaining. But with girls hockey, since there's not a lot of physicality, you have to rely on a lot of speed and skill, which could be fun for some people to watch. In my opinion, that's why I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, no, I say speed and skill for sure. Like people I've talked to, or even like my brother and sister, even my parents, they say it's so much more fun watching female hockey because, like you said, it's all skill and speed wise. It's not like people like bickering or like fighting each other, in front of the net or anything like that, or trying to go for the big hit. So it is a lot different, in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah, how do you try to convince people to watch women's hockey? Because saw a post about, like, I think it was the first like female that played college football, and she's got some pretty bad comments towards her on her social media. How do you try to convince some of those people to watch women's sports and try to change their mindset on it?
I think the showing females success within the sport is huge. I know for myself, and back home, like having the like people in Bismarck watch our games, it kind of helps that both Britta and I grew up together in Bismarck. Bismarck's a very small town. So, people are going to watch us there just because we grew up there. Now in bigger cities and stuff, I don't know how they're going to change that, but yeah, I don't know. I think that really helps, that we grew up in a small town. So I think any small town people are going to watch.
Now, what should I do better as an interviewer to make this podcast better?
I think you did awesome. I wouldn't really say anything different. I like how you brought in hockey-based questions and then outside questions too. It has more interaction and you kind of learn about us as well. So I think you did really well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Is there any shout-outs like to give to any of your family members, teammates at Mercyhurst or teammates at Wisconsin?
I would say to shout out to my teammates that I had at North Dakota and then at Mercyhurst and now at Wisconsin. They've all helped me develop to who I am today as a player, person, and especially the coaches too. So.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Kennedy. It really means a lot. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your season. I know you're going to do great, and stay safe, and I'll definitely try to promote you and the rest of your team as much as I can throughout the year.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
Good luck
Take
with
care.
your podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.